Now we have a very special guest for you here on Sky Sports News. I'm not talking about Jerry Francis. He's here at 7:30. We are joined, though, right now.
I'll take it.
Chris, your team must be on a massive high after your cup-winning exploits on Saturday. How do you think you're going to bring them back down to earth, for a side you're widely fancied to beat?
Not a problem.
This is your final game in charge.
Yeah.
Put into context what the last 3 years have meant to you, and what's been the highlight?
I've got to say, of all the teams I've managed, this one has been the biggest burden. Burden.
Big game. It's what you play football for. It's why you're in the OC club, to play these games. And 2v3's game. Everyone knows each other's games. The matchups all over the pitch. It's about taking man for man. 1-on-1. Can you beat your opponent? Corner kicks. You're going to let them score a few? I don't think so.
We are the twos. We're supposed to be the decent football players. So when we play a team who have had back-to-back promotions, who have come from the lower leagues, we know we will be in a war.
What do you feel about assertions when Ian King says that he could easily play for the thirds if there's no twos game? He could just drop down to the threes. How do you feel about that? Is that quite cutting?
Cutting's one word for it. Bullshit's another. But let's be honest, back in the days of Ben Wakeham, second 11 captain, there was a third 11 in the same league. Second 11 went down to bottom of the league, I think, but somehow stayed up, and we kept it the same, and the second 11 came back up again. I don't think you don't change, but you're not going to change if I can't think of any analogy here.
Would you ever represent the second 11?
That's a great sense of humour.
Well, it's just a quick one. Who's been your player of the year this season, you think?
It's a really tough one. I talked about Rich Murphy. Doug Bourne's had some brilliant moments. Charlie Mortimer, ever a mainstay at centre midfield, been fantastic.
Are you happy with the label that you've been given in some quarters being called Dumb and Dumber? I mean, are you alright?
Labels. That's Dumb and Dumber's a good one. I think. I mean, that shows that we're close.
I feel like a little bit like Martin Luther King, in that we're trying to slam down those labels. I think we're all just footballers here to play a game, label or not. We're not interested in what you guys got to say about with a Dumb and Dumber.
The Chuckle Brothers, Anton Dirk. It's just names.
Well, what have you made of reports in the media suggesting referee by the nickname 50-50 could be taking charge of the game? I mean, would that be the right appointment for a game of this magnitude?
Well, I think you've answered your own question there. I don't think he's quite got the capability for a game of this magnitude. He has a lot of qualities, but refereeing's not one of them.
Can I follow up on this discipline point?
Sure.
Referees, maybe conning referees. Game 2s versus 3s, the first one. There was a bit of simulation, wouldn't you say? A lot of diving, even perhaps. I mean, will you be prepping your players to simulate again this time?
Simulation is a massive part of our game, and we most of our training sessions are taken up just simulating, and when we're not training, I get the guys to simulate at home.
It's results that count, and you can play nice football, or you can just knock it out wide and hope your wingers beat 5 players. That's it. Okay. Promoted the 2-3s 2 years in a row.
Sorry, whose phone's that?
Sorry, so it was mine. I'm just trying to turn it off.
Was it ringing in a press conference?
Just waiting for a text.
It's a bit rude, isn't it? It's great manners. You turn it off in a press conference.
Sorry.
Sort your life out. Fuck off.
Noticed at the beginning of the press conference you walked in very slowly, almost gingerly, one would say.
I'll take Paul Collingwood over Paul Scholes, so thank you.
Your regular keeper, which of the sponsors behind you do you think he's most into?
McDonald's isn't there.
I don't see Lucas Aid Sport Light here.
Perhaps you could share a few words on your potential successor.
He gets results, particularly in the showers, where he keeps a close eye on people and chooses to face forwards, and that says a lot about him.
I've never got over James Moss to be honest, so I haven't looked again.
How's selection looking for this weekend? London Marathon, I imagine it's not very committed if some of your guys are running out, and
I'd sit here and tell you my starting 11 now.
Yeah.
Well, I would do.
You go?
Under different circumstances. Yeah, on Sunday I will. That's fine.
I'd say there's a lot of options for the captain to use young players. I haven't actually had many privileges off the captain yet.
You know, I've got a few late injury tests. You know, maybe Ed Jenner's coming back. He is in an oxygen tent with his Burger King.
Chigwell are playing ringers. Everyone's playing ringers. In fact, I'm not sure where Chris Jenner went to school. I don't remember him.
I mean, Wilkinson's an Adonis. The ladies, I mean, they seem to love him. Jackson, he's a prolific moisturiser. Compton Ramsey, I mean, I don't know how he does it. The guy's like a stallion. Dolman.
There's a few players you could put into that bracket. I think if you're getting the likes of Humphrey Ellis-Hill as well, I'd label him.
There's a Sasquatch.
Bears an uncanny resemblance to Luigi from Mario Brothers fame.
Oh, I think you mean Luigi's the tall one. That can't be Alice Hill.
Oh, is Luigi the tall one?
Yeah, Luigi's the tall one, I think.
The short, fat, red one?
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Sorry. Are there any threes players in particular you know your team fears or you'll have to keep a close eye on? I mean, Dan Linden's been mentioned in the past.
I'll be honest, I have no clue who Dan Linden is.
We've got a couple of players stuck abroad at the moment, notably Mr. John Jackson. What are you doing to get him back? Is he going to be a massive loss if you cannot get him back in time?
We have plenty of perfectly good tanning salons in this country, so why he's had to go to the east coast of the United States to sort of top up his tan and get the waxing in is beyond me. But he's one of those players, a special player. So if we can get him back, and we're trying everything we can, he'll play. He's that kind of a player. He's a game changer.
I think Tim Burton-Murphy perhaps belies his physique because he gets around the pitch. I know he's had to struggle with injuries, but he's a quality player, and I'm sure he'll be out to give us a kicking when he can, just like I'm sure we will be as well.
Who would you say is the sous chef of the centre midfield partnership?
I mean, we tend to play in the three, but I'm happy to be sous chef. Mopping up in front of the back four, giving it to the master chefs.
If you play in a three, you're potentially the sous chef or even the kitchen porter.
I'm happy to take kitchen porter tag. I mean, I'm happy to.
I'd say
they say Paul Makaleli was the water carrier at Real Madrid, and he did a great job, and I'm happy to take that tag.
I say Ben makes the ingredients, and I put it in the oven. That's how it works.
Captain Birdseye has been a servant to this club, and I don't think we should joke around whether he starts or whether he comes on as an impact player.
Seems like you're avoiding the question.
I probably am, but I don't like to give away too much.
I've heard there's a bit of unfinished business from the first game between Mr. Moss and Mr. Schofield. Handbags at dawn would be an understatement. It looked like one of the most pathetic brawls I've ever seen in my life, and I would very much like to see round two.
How do you sum up the season in terms of what's been achieved for the threes? And from a personal point of view, how do you think the team's done?
Well, we're really the Tiger Woods of football. We don't enter a competition unless we think we can win it. And I still believe we can win all 4 competitions we've entered this season. It's going to take some doing. We're out of 3 of them. But if you don't set your standards high, then you can't win anything. So
just one final question to you, Sam. What's on your iPod? Is it? What do you like to listen to?
There's a bit of all sorts. There's a bit of
All Saints.
All Saints is probably on there somewhere. I think it's a bit of Jay-Z and Killer Keller and some of this quite hardcore shit.
It depends on the starting lineup. Very much depends on the starting lineup. That's not decided yet. Got a few tricks up the sleeve. Might throw Kibby off the path a bit with a few dummy formations while he's snooping on the emails.
You know what? I've kept really quiet about this situation, but I tell you something now. He went down in my estimation when he said that. We have not resorted to that. And I'll tell you now, you could tell him now and he'll be watching. We're still fighting for this title. He's got to play Harrow, he's got to get something. And I'll tell you honestly, I would love it if we beat them.
Anyway, is that everything, gents? Because I've got to get on. This has been pretty enlightening.
What are your plans for this evening?
Cheers,